just wasn't interested.
But so I'm sure it was Grand Sally that took us
No,
down.
I don't think Joe believed.
He got involved in the Unitarian Church at one point, I remember.
Yeah, but the Unitarian Church is different.
Right.
You can get involved with them, and
Yeah, he was teaching young folks at the Unitarian Church out in Cave Spring.
What was he teaching?
Well,
You never went to any of the classes. Well, I remember in West Virginia, in St. Albans, we went to a Methodist church.
yeah,
I have a Bible from whatever church we went to then.
yeah, it was Methodist church there.
But when
Yeah.
when we moved to Charlotte, I remember daycare at a Baptist church, but the only church I remember going to on Sundays was the Unitarian Church.
Yeah. Oh, I had a big argument with the Baptist church in
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Because Sarah was in there, and I wasn't going, but the little boy was killed, and I didn't want her to go to the funeral. And they did not approve of that. Also, when I'd go in, I'd have short skirts. I'd have to wear.
You had
It was
it was
very
the '60s. You had a '60s miniskirt, not a miniskirt, but
well. Yeah, it was.
well, okay.
Mini skirts and and I had to go in to pick her up, and I said I didn't want to go, and they said, well, they thought she should go. It'd be good for her to go, and I don't necessarily disagree with that now, but I did then. So I just took her out of the kindergarten and put her in Sugar Creek Presbyterian that was over near where we lived.
I knew that you had some disagreement. That took because Karen and I went to that daycare, right? And we were fine. You were fine with that, but it's with Sarah.
I don't remember that you all went.
Went somewhere.
I think I remembered that we did. What I remember from that was wearing one of Dad's shirts because we were supposed to be Japanese,
Oh.
something samurai or just dressed up as Japanese. So the long, one of Dad's long sleeve white shirts kind of filled in. It was close enough to a not kimono, but whatever the males wear. That's my only memory from that.
But I forget so much, with it.
But so the boy died. How did he die? What was the?
I think maybe in a car wreck.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
And was it a kid from that daycare class?
Yeah,
Wow.
I think so. And they just thought she should. And I had been uncomfortable having her there for a long time. Because,
This is
I
the
know.
Baptist one.
oh yes,
Mhm.
a strict Baptist one. Jerry Falwell type strict
Mhm.
Baptist
What
one.
it turned out to be a right famous church down there, wasn't it?
Yeah, they
That's the
did.
ones that, no, that's the church up on the corner.
No, that was a
Church
sugar.
behind us.
No, it was good distance away from us. And
Yeah, they were very strict.
very strict.
Mm-hmm.
Now I forgot what I was going to say.
Then we went to the Unitarian church
Yeah,
for a while.
remember going to the pig roast
Mm-hmm.
at the Unitarian church?
No.
We did. They dug a big hole
Like a luau kind of thing.
and put the pig down in there and roasted it, and we went to that.
What I remember from the Unitarian Church was we were taught about lots of different religions, Islam, Buddhism.
Do what?
That we were in Sunday school, we were taught about different religious approaches. And we learned about Islam and Buddhism and maybe something else. I remember art class that I really liked. I remember they did a showing of I Am Curious Yellow for the adults, which was like a softcore porn
I don't remember that.
art movie in the 70s. You don't remember that?
No.
Do you remember taking hypnosis lessons?
Yes.
All right.
Definitely remember taking hypnosis lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the relevance rag?
Oh.
So that was a musical performance, and you guys brought home a single 45 record called, I think, Doing the Relevance Rag or something like that. You don't remember that?
Nope.
You must have the record around here somewhere.
Probably so.
I remember playing it at home.
What was the name of it?
I think it was the Relevance Rag. So it was kind of a bluegrassy, piece where the lyrics had something to do with religion or conventions.
I was getting up and thought, well, I'll go over there and look in the
No, the record player.
record player that's over there and see if we have it. That's in the
Is that
dog
in the-
house.
is
The
that-
garage? No, no, the other. All right.
Might be in there.
Who knows?
Now, in Charlotte, when did forced desegregation come to the school system? Was that around the same time that you were having problems with the Baptist daycare for Sarah,
No,
or was
we-
that before?
They had
After.
changed to where you went to different schools when we went down there.
No,
I thought
because
first-
I remember in the fourth grade going to the neighborhood school.
Uh-huh.
It was the fifth grade when we started getting
Changed.
bused.
And, but let's see. That may have been the first year you were down there was the fourth grade.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember the third grade at all, but presumably that was in West Virginia. I remember the first grade in Crystal Springs, and I sort of remember the second grade, but I don't remember the third grade at all. Not at all.
I don't remember much about that.
I remember that y'all were well educated. You were better educated than the kids in Charlotte
Yeah,
when y'all came from West Virginia.
that's what.
That's kind of saying something, isn't it? What is that saying? Is that saying that, what was it because St. Albans was particularly better educated
It
No,
was
section
Kanawha
of
County.
West Virginia,
Kanawha County is one of the best in the country
Was
at
one
that
of
time.
the best.
encompassing Charleston?
In Charleston education was one of the best in the country.
And the
it was because-
teachers told us
Yeah,
that y'all were much further along than the others.
at that time, Charleston was one of the leading chemical industries in the country, and led by all the families and so forth. So the education level was higher, which I think is interesting. I have no idea what the situation is now. It may still be.
Union Carbide was the big,
Mm-hmm.
or at least one of the big companies.
Yeah, Bob and Judy lived out there in Charleston for a while. And,
This is Robert E.
yeah.
Lee Francis that was at the reunion.
Mm.
You were Dad. So when we were in St. Albans, you were working for Volkswagen of America. Mid Atlantic, was it Mid Atlantic sales rep or something, or what was it?
Yeah, I covered Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina.
How did we end up in St. Albans?
I had we'd gone to work with Harry Lockett and Ed Ross, foreign car specialists. I had worked for Dick Carell at Roanoke Valley Motors. Was sales manager there for years, and then I sold out to Harry and Ed, and took a job with. I had known the Volkswagen people from when I was at Roanoke Valley Motors, and took a job with them as a district service manager.
But you sold insurance a little while before
Oh,
that.
before we left, yeah, I sold insurance.
So that was the Saab Suzuki dealership,
Mm-hmm.
and Roanoke Valley Motors, of course, was a Volkswagen.
Volkswagen,
place.
yeah. And I evidently had a good reputation with the Volkswagen people, and so anyway, I went over there, and it worked out pretty good. And then we had the opportunity to go into sales instead of in service, and that's when we went to Charlotte.
Well, then eventually you went to work for Volkswagen in Charlotte,
Yeah.
Jordan Volkswagen.
Jordan Volkswagen, yeah. Yep,
I've been trying to, well, in the past I've tried to remember the schools that I went to when we were in Charlotte.
mm-hmm.
So the first place we lived was Hidden Valley. Went to, was it Hidden Valley Elementary?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. 4th grade, forced desegregation happened. I got shipped across town to Druid Hills.
Yeah.
Then that was 5th and 6th grade. Then in 7th grade, got bused to J.T. Williams.
Yes.
Then we moved from Hidden Valley
Out in the
to,
country. Mm-hmm.
no, to an apartment
Mm-hmm.
close to Jordan
Where you
Volkswagen.
worked.
Mm-hmm.
But we just lived there shortly.
Shortly, but I went to
That's where the school, where
some,
Virginia went to the school when she was all sick and
No, that's when I took
took care of her.
Karen. Harry took you to the new school.
to transfer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I took Karen, and we'd both had the London flu.
London flu.
And I was coughing, took Karen to the school, and I was leaning up against the desk because I couldn't stand up coughing. So Karen said, well, they put me in the lowest grade. And then she said, when they got my papers, they moved me into the upper grade. But that's the reason I didn't have her papers.
Right.
So that's the reason.
The same thing happened to me at one of the schools, and I can't remember which. I think it was JT. All right, well, so let's back up. So we moved to the apartment complex near Jordan Volkswagen, where Dad worked.
Yeah.
I went to a school that was formerly a magnet school, but I can't remember the name of that. That wasn't Cochrane, was it?
I don't know.
It could be.
That's the name rings a bell. Anyway, I went to a school where at some point it was a magnet school, and then we moved out to the country.
And
And I
then
went
they sent
to-
you back to J.T. Williams.
Well, before that, went to the local school,
Mm-hmm.
which I think that was Cochrane. I don't know what this interim school was, the magnet
we
school. Was it
wanted you to go to
Albemarle? Does that ring a bell? Was Albemarle Road near the apartment complex?
Albemarle Road was out there.
You did go to, you actually walked to school when we first, I think, when we first moved out there. And then they had integration and y'all were shipped to the other side of town on buses.
Well, so after the magnet school, we moved out into the country.
Mm-hmm.
That school I went to was still bused. It was Cochrane Junior High. I remember that. And then the redistricting happened, and we ended up going back to J.T. Williams in the 9th grade.
And Karen was there then. Karen eventually
Right.
at J.T. Williams.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as good a school. I felt like Cochrane would have been the better.
Probably. I thought I had pretty good teachers, actually, at J.T. Williams. And the funny thing is, the first time I went to J.T. Williams, it was all about white-black stuff, because it was still early third year of desegregation. But by the time we came back to it, that was the 7th grade. In the 9th grade, it was no longer so much a black and white thing, but more of a which school did you previously go to thing. Because there was a black school and then there were 2 white schools. And nobody liked anybody, you know.
You got a good memory. I don't.
It made it,
Albemarle Road, I think, was the name of the magnet school.
it might be, I don't remember that much. With that, I remember Cochrane. I remember you went to J.T. Williams a couple times. And that's where y'all were introduced to pot. As you said, you could go into the bathroom and everybody be smoking pot.
I don't remember that.
That a lot would. That
Maybe
you
Karen
knew what
said
it
that.
smelled like.
I remember in the 9th grade at J.T. Williams, there was a spot outside, designated smoking area, where the teachers and the students all smoked. And maybe it was legal for kids that young to smoke at that point.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I don't remember it being an issue. But I don't remember pot. That was, well, maybe.
Well, that's just how I remember it. That doesn't mean it's right.
I don't remember it at all.
And of course, then we came up to Shawsville, and
I remember going to an Alice Cooper concert at the Civic Center. And you guys dropped us off. It was me and somebody else. I don't remember who else. And the people behind us were smoking. And it didn't smell like cigarettes. And so that, I remember that. I think that was probably my first exposure to it.
Interesting. I don't remember the smell of pot. I don't remember it at all. I remember the normal cigarette, tobacco, but I don't remember pot.
I do.
You smoked some, did you?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, I told you that before, hadn't I?
Just recently.
Down at Diane's.
Was that, she was renting out Uncle Davis's place?
Uh-huh.
No, I didn't know that until you talked about it 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh, it wasn't 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was 2 or 3 months or years ago.
It was years and years ago. And Mom told me about that.
Years ago.
And now I got pot of oil she won't take.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it had the TH whatever in it, I might. Might make me feel better.
Mhm.
Might make you hungrier.
That's
That's
right.
one of the applications in medical marijuana is for
You get the munchies.
you get hungry for stuff.
I want you to take some.
What, marijuana?
No.
Y'all can move up to D.C. where it's legal now. Well, it's decriminalized.
It's legal in all 50 states now.
No, it's not legal in Virginia.
Not marijuana.
Marijuana isn't, but this oil is.
Well,
This is hemp oil. It's legal everywhere.
marijuana is not.
Mhm.
I think it ought to be legal anywhere for medical purposes, for people who have chemotherapy and can't eat, and they'll keep them from throwing up and they'll want something.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But who expects the government to make sense?
In D.C. now, it's legal to own up to and to grow up to 2 ounces. Actually, well, I guess you can grow whatever you want, but you can carry on your person 2
2
ounces,
ounces.
and you can give some amount, maybe the full amount of 2 ounces. You can't sell it, but you can give it away to your friends. But that only applies on DC property. So a lot of DC is covered by the National Park Service. So you can't go onto any of the park land. Well, I guess you can't. You're not supposed to smoke it in public anyway. But if you're caught on national park land, then I guess you can get into trouble. Because that's federal government control.
Well, I think people still smoke in public, don't they?
They do. I catch whiffs of it fairly often on the metro, at metro stations. Not as much as I used to when I worked in Columbia Heights. But yeah, I catch whiffs of it all the time.
I was just used to Tim smoking and Bob smoking, but both of them have quit.
Good for them. Well, that's just recent though. So
Yeah,
because at the beach, somebody was smoking. There was a beer bottle with cigarette butts in it.
Well, maybe Tim was.
Maybe that was some
Maybe
backsliding.
Bob was. Not Tim. Tim's got to have some kind of surgery
Coming up.
in his liver. He's got, so he's not drinking either.
Nobody heard that, but posterity. Well, that might have been Nick's. Maybe that was just Nick's cigarettes.
It might have been.
It could have been. No,
Yeah.
he's quit
He
too.
did smoke,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Yeah, he was
Outside.
smoking
You
down
smoke,
there.
you go outside and smoke.
It might just have been him. He started taking Chantix. Is that what it is? It's an
Something.
antidepressant that turned out to also make it easy for people to stop smoking. So he just quit recently.
Yeah,
I just quit when I quit. Just quit. Of course, I had just quit many times, but this time I didn't go back.
When is Tim undergoing surgery?
You know, I'm not exactly sure. He'd been up to UVA twice in 1 week because they can't coordinate their appointments with both doctors. You know, one doctor doesn't have an appointment. So Karen had to take him up twice.
Ah,
And I don't know. Oh, they're going to do some kind of slicing of his liver, and then they may not have to really open him up. Don't ask me, ask Karen or Sarah. They know more about it. He has, in his liver, he has something that looks funny.
Yeah, they thought it was a blood clot, and that's what caused all the problems. They decided to dissolve his blood clot and then open up an ulcer in the stomach, and he got bled to death,
right.
damn near. But they later found out that spot in his liver has vessels
Blood
growing
vessels going through it.
It's been there a long
So,
time, and I think that's what they want to go have a look at. But I don't know. He may ought to leave the damn thing alone. Of course, when they quit giving him the blood thinner and went in and cauterized his stomach, he was fixed just automatically. Yeah, he got over 8 pints. I think over 8 pints of blood. I read somewhere that
well, you got 8 pints of blood.
6 or 8, I don't know. Got a whole lot. Somebody told me that your total blood amount is like 6 pints.
No, I think it's more.
Isn't? I was thinking 4, so I don't know.
I was thinking more.
Anyway, it was surprising to me to get 6 pints or 8 pints.
Well, I think they gave you 4 on your first surgery, and then you had to go back in for something, and they gave you 2 more. I've never had any.
It's so a 5-foot person would be 6 to 8 pints. Is what?
For a 5-foot person. I guess it depends on what you weigh, how much body
Exactly
tissue you have.
how big a person you are.
But yeah, it was kind of touch and go there for a while with Tim. So he told me he'd quit drinking. And I think they told him to. Alcohol is really not that great for your liver.
Right.
Excess alcohol.
Yeah.
I don't know what excess really means. You know?
I don't know either.
But high fructose corn syrup is bad for your liver.
You still eat things that have it in it that you like. So don't say
Those
anything.
oatmeal cookies.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He always, going to the grocery store with him is a job. Because he stops. He says, you go on, I'll follow you. Because we take 2 carts, because I need something to hold on to. And then I look around and he's not there. I go back and he's reading labels on something.